I condemn and don't support destruction of property, Mr. Speaker. But I equally, Mr. Speaker, denounce the use of live bullets by our police officers on demonstrators. If you watched CNN this morning, Mr. Speaker, Kenya was accorded, I tried to take the minutes. We were accorded repeatedly in the news, more than an hour this morning. And the focus was that the Kenyan police used live bullets to kill innocent, unarmed demonstrators within the precincts of Parliament, not at Moi Avenue, not on University Way, but within the precincts of Parliament. I understand it's wrong, Mr. Speaker, to invade the institution of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. But do we support, as a House, Mr. Speaker, the use of live bullets on demonstrators, Mr. Speaker? Senator Chuta has told us this morning that we all know there is something we call rubber bullets. We know it. There are those rungus, I don't know how we call them in English, that can be used to quell demonstrations. But, Mr. Speaker, should we, as a country, independent country, 62 years after regaining our independence, open live bullets on demonstrators? What is the difference between Kenya today and the apartheid South Africa? What is the difference? When we watched Sarafina movie shot in South Africa, where the police, during apartheid, were opening fire on blacks in South Africa fighting for the independence of that country, and what we witnessed yesterday. What is the difference, Mr. Speaker? When these pictures are being shown in CNN, Mr. Speaker, what picture are we portraying for our nation? What picture are we portraying, Mr. Speaker? I witnessed during the unfortunate incidents, which again I don't support, that happened in Washington when Trump led demonstrators to invade Congress. Nobody approved. I don't approve it up to today. It was a wrong thing to do. But there was restraint from the police force in the US. There was restraint from the police in the US. Nobody was shot dead. In fact, the person who lost his life instead was a police officer who, in extreme restraint, sustained injuries that were fatal. But in this country, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, we opened fire on young people. The statistics have it that we lost 5 lives, but it could be more, Mr. Speaker. So we as a House, instead of adjourning, Mr. Speaker, we need to know who was in command of those police officers. Can you imagine if Honorable Chuta here, can you imagine if those youths also turned on him and killed him yesterday? What could have happened, Mr. Speaker? Because, Mr. Speaker, this Constitution in Chapter 14 has standards that should be applied by our police force, Mr. Speaker. And we have structures, Mr. Speaker. Under Article 145, there is only one Kenyan who should give us answers, the Inspector General of Police. He's the one who has commanding authority over the National Police Service, Mr. Speaker. Worse still, Mr. Speaker, we have the National Security Council that has supervisory powers over all the security organs, the Defense Forces, the NSIS, the National Police Service, Mr. Speaker. And that council, Mr. Speaker, the National Security Council under Article 240, is chaired by none other than the President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Is he approving those kind of murdering of our youths by police force, Mr. Speaker. And we know, Mr. Speaker, that the UN Assembly of State Parties in 1979 passed a code of conduct for security organs in all countries that are members of the UN, Mr. Speaker. And when you are dealing with a demonstration, Mr. Speaker, you are not allowed to use live bullets unless the demonstrators themselves are using equal force. If you see people coming to Parliament opening fire on the police officers, that can be excused. But you're dealing with people who are invoking their right under Article 37. If they have invaded Parliament, we can invoke our laws, have them arrested, charged, taken to court. You listened yesterday, Mr. Speaker. Our Chief Justice issued a statement. That's unprecedented. And he urged our security organs. He told them the courts will open beyond 6 p.m. Arrest anybody who's breaking the law and bring them to us. He didn't tell them that open fire and kill. No. So, Mr. Speaker, what happened yesterday should be condemned, Mr. Speaker. We want a country that respects the rule of law. If there are people who have broken the law, let them be arrested, be taken to courts of law, charged, tried, and if they are found guilty, they should be jailed, but not to kill demonstrators using live bullets. So I oppose this motion, Mr. Speaker, because we have serious issues that we need to prosecute and deal with now, not in July. That is what is expected of us as the people's representative, Mr. Speaker. So I oppose, I'm sorry to differ with Majority Leader, and also differ with Minority Leader, that we cannot adjourn while the country is burning. Parliament can sit even during wartime, Mr. Speaker. But if we adjourn and run away, then we are cowards. This is not a house of cowards, Mr. Speaker. We have distinguished leaders here. Let us know what are the problems facing us at this hour, at this time in our history. What are the solutions? How do we deal with them? If you adjourn today and you see the youths again demonstrating on Monday, are you going to deal with these issues from Nandi or from Marsabit? No. You deal with the issues from here on this floor, Mr. Speaker. So I oppose this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.